Puff Diddy is now facing a lawsuit. The singer, known as Cassie, alleging years of sexual abuse and during their relationship. Combs would force Cassie to have sex with male while he watched and filmed. He would control her with beatings and drugs shortly after they met when she was just 19 years old.
P. Diddy has silenced Cassie after she filed a lawsuit against him. She claims that Diddy has physically harmed her for years, decades of him beating her, threatening her career, and hiding her away. He used his power in the industry to stop her career when she challenged him, and now he's using his money to stop the truth from coming out. So let's get into it. I think we can all agree that there's something sketchy going on with Diddy because his ex Cassie made some damning allegations against him. But then once those accusations became public, she ended up settling with him. It's not normal for someone to make such disgusting allegations against someone and then to quickly settle with them and act like nothing had happened. But that's what's going on between P. Diddy and Cassie. P. Diddy, aka Sean Combs, and the singer Cassie have reached a settlement just one day after she filed an explosive lawsuit against him, claiming that he had R-worded her and physically harmed her multiple times. Just to give you guys my opinion up front, I feel like P. Diddy is silencing Cassie by paying her off and acting like nothing had happened. Cassie put out a statement, quote, "I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control." P. Diddy also put out a statement very similar, quote, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best." And I'm sure P. Diddy does wish Cassie the best because she could have really exposed him in court. And we're going to walk through her filing and her allegations together in this video. But even with this settlement, there's a lot of damage to P. Diddy's reputation because we could see how violent of a man he really is. But this was a smart move for P. Diddy because this settlement quickly shuts down what could have been a risky and potentially embarrassing legal process. So of course, this quick settlement raises a lot of red flags. Some people wrote on social media, the fact that he settled that quick, Cassie had some dirt on him. Another person wrote, that was the fastest episode of Surviving Diddy. Another comment reads, regardless of the settlement, one thing for sure is that he did it, because it was shut down dumb quick. He didn't even put up a fight. Another person writes, wow, that was fast AF. He did that stuff, because I didn't see someone paying millions of dollars for something they didn't do. This person writes, he probably threatened her family. If he can blow up a car, throw a lamp at her in the hallway of a hotel, and pay for the footage, he has some people on his team that will make her and her family disappear. And Cassie must know a lot about Diddy because he is throwing millions of dollars at her for her silence. So let's take it back to the beginning, back in 2005, where Cassie and Diddy first met. They had a professional relationship because the singer Cassie released her first album under Diddy's record label. Although Cassie and Diddy did not go public with their relationship, you would see them together at events, and it seemed like there was something going on more than just a working relationship. According to the lawsuit, Cassie met Diddy in late 2005 when she was 19 and he was 37. She then signed a 10-album recording deal with his record label, and then within months, they began a romantic relationship. So already the power dynamic is way off. She's only 19, he's almost 40 years old, and he has control over her professional career.
I'm wondering about the boyfriend, Diddy, whether he came to the set to make sure everything was copacetic with you.
No, he actually really trusted the situation. Him and Terrence spoke beforehand because Terrence.
Wait. You date P. Diddy?
Oh, wow.
I did not know this. Yeah. Hold the phone.
Greg.
You know,
Yes.
I typically don't talk about my private life.
So at one point, these two had a decent relationship, but in this court filing, we see how dark everything really was. Because Cassie did not hold back in her filing. She claims that he had R-worded her and harmed her multiple times. So P. Diddy was sued in federal court in New York City by his former girlfriend, Cassie, who claims that he would not only R-word her, but for years repeatedly physically harmed her.
New York Times is reporting that music mogul Sean Combs, better known as Puff Daddy or Diddy, is now facing a lawsuit from the singer known as Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, alleging years of sexual abuse and during their long romantic relationship.
The shocking lawsuit paints a dark picture of their relationship in which Diddy gained control of her personal and professional life and subjected her to years of savage beatings. Diddy began aggressively pursuing Cassie when she was 19, and she claims that he would invite himself into her life, whether it was her 21st birthday or some public outing, and he would forcibly kiss her and exerted his power and influence into her life. Let's go through some of Cassie's allegations, because she claims that P. Diddy had R-worded her in her own home after she tried to leave him. He would often punch, beat, kick, and stomp on Cassie, resulting in physical injuries. He blew up a man's car after he learned that guy was romantically interested in Cassie. He forced Cassie to engage in other sexual acts with other men who are workers, and I guess P. Diddy would watch it happen. At one point, I guess he ran out of his apartment with a gun in pursuit of someone else in the industry who he was in competition with. He demanded that Cassie carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. And then finally, she claims that he introduced her into a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and required her to get these illegal prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions.
Suit, which was filed in federal district court in Manhattan, alleges during that relationship, Combs would force Cassie to have sex with male while he watched and filmed. The singer also claims he would control her with beatings and drugs shortly after they met when she was just 19 years old. The suit also claims that Combs raped her towards the end of the relationship. Combs' lawyer sent a statement vehemently denying the allegations, also saying that the singer has been seeking $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship. The suit seeks unspecified damages.
So those are some disgusting allegations, and Cassie goes on to claim that Diddy would assault her multiple times a year. And then back in 2009, Diddy repeatedly kicked her in the face after she was seen talking to another talent agent. So he really stopped her from pursuing more of a career because he wanted that full and absolute control over her. Due to P. Diddy's status in the entertainment industry, Cassie felt like she could not refuse his advances or his drugs without jeopardizing her career. After they began dating, P. Diddy took Cassie on lavish vacations, paid for apartments in New York City and LA, gave her designer clothing, and supplied her with drugs. A lifestyle, the lawsuit says, was designed to keep her complacent and compliant. It's interesting how she is attributing her addiction issues to Diddy. The complaint says that Cassie still suffers from immense emotional distress because of her drug addiction, and she went into rehab at one point because she wanted to take her own life. She said, quote, "After years in silence and darkness, I'm finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships." Quote, "With the expiration of the New York's Adult Survivors Act fast approaching, it became clear that this was the opportunity to speak up about the trauma I've experienced and that I will be recovering from for the rest of my life." Now, we just went through a lot of dark accusations, but let's go through some of those specifics. Like the allegation that Cassie claims that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car before it exploded in his driveway. Kid Cudi is another rapper in the entertainment industry, and I guess there was some issues going on between him and B. Diddy. Because in February 2012, Diddy told Cassie that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Cassie was terrified. She began to fully comprehend what Diddy was both willing and able to do to those who he believed crossed him.
During one of their off periods in 2012, Cassie began dating Kid Cudi. This apparently enraged Diddy. He threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car, and shortly after that threat was made, Cudi's car blew up in his driveway.
So Cassie wanted to date Kid Cudi. She wanted to go and live her life, but P. Diddy wasn't going to let it happen. And I don't know if this was like attempted murder by blowing up his car, but that is scary. And I would be scared if I was Cassie as well, because clearly P. Diddy has some connections and he's very connected to where he can just go and off someone if he wanted to. The lawsuit further accuses P. Diddy and other defendants of sex trafficking, human trafficking, assault, gender motivated violence, harassment, and discrimination discrimination. Now, we don't know how much money Cassie was looking for while filing this lawsuit. It does look like she was looking for a certain payout, but the amount isn't described. Because of this court filing, people are looking at these accusations and then taking a look back at history to see if there were any signals. And in 2014, Cassie had a busted lip, and some people claim that maybe P. Diddy was responsible for this. Cassie posted and deleted this picture in 2014 during her Dubai trip with Diddy. Some reports claim that it was an ATV accident, but I'm not buying it. I mean, if this was an ATV accident, it's interesting how the markings are right here and right here. Because if she were to really slam her face, there would be like markings all over her face, not these two specific parts where it seems like Diddy could have hit her. And if that happened in 2014, well, in 2015, Diddy supposedly beat Cassie so severely that when his security guard and assistant saw her two black eyes and bursted lip and a huge welt on her forehead, they began to cry. She was routinely made to hide in hotels while her bruises healed.
Now, this lawsuit was filed in the Federal District Court of Manhattan, and some of the things that Cassie is alleging is that she was raped by Diddy on multiple occasions. She was often punched, beat, kicked, stomped on, resulting in bruises, busted lips, black eyes, and bleeding.
It is insane to me that she could be bruised and bleeding and busted, and then Diddy can just go and live his life like nothing happened. I mean, he must be a real demon if he can do this to Cassie and then leave her in the hotel while he goes and lives his best life.
And as if SA is not the most egregious thing on this list, she is alleging that she was sex trafficked by Diddy, and he recorded her engaging in certain acts with male spicy workers. In order to scare Cassie, at times Diddy would make her carry firearms in her purse because he knew that it made her uncomfortable.
I mean, the trafficking allegations are really bad. It reminds me of Hugh Hefner in the Playboy Mansion because he would go and make his girlfriends do things while he just like was in the corner like wanking off. And it sounds like Diddy would make Cassie do some things so he can get off watching her, you know, hook up with male sex workers when she probably never wanted to. I mean, clearly. He would force her to have sex with male prostitutes as he masturbated and filmed the encounters, which makes me feel like he's collecting blackmail to hold against her. She admitted to accepting drugs during these instances, as they would allow her to disassociate from the horrific experience.
Freak off. F-O. I need y'all to understand what this man was putting Cassie through. So Cassie is speaking up about her traumas now and said, and I quote, "With the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act fast approaching, it became clear that this was an opportunity to speak up about the trauma I have experienced and that I will be recovering from for the rest of my life."
So really, Cassie's entire career was set up against her. Quote, her abusive partner, who also owned her label and therefore held her future success in his hands, had fully exerted control over every aspect of her life. In 2016, the president of his record label, James Cruz, told Cassie that her single would not be released unless she answered phone calls from P. Diddy. So unless she's going to have a relationship with P. Diddy, she's not allowed to release any new music.
Besides fearing for her safety or a violent outburst, there were multiple threats made from Diddy that he would suppress her music if she didn't obey his violent claims. He also had access to her medical records and paid for her a car and apartment.
In 2018, Cassie was desperate to end her relationship with P. Diddy. After a dinner where she believed they would discuss the issue, P. Diddy forced himself into her home and R-worded her. Shortly after, she left the home, which he had paid for, returned the car that he had bought her, and separated herself completely. There's also another story about a time that P. Diddy gave Cassie a black eye while they were staying at a LA hotel. Cassie claims that she tried to leave the alleged attack, but P. Diddy followed her into the hallway and threw a glass case at her. According to the lawsuit, the hotel surveillance footage captured the incident, but P. Diddy paid the hotel $50,000 for the video. So he's literally able to pay off these people for evidence to make it seem like Cassie is truly trapped and she has no leverage over him.
As he fell asleep, she tried to leave the hotel room, and he woke up, followed her into the hallway, and began throwing glass vases at her. Now, she claims there was video footage from the hotel video cameras that were there, and when she tried to retrieve it, he just paid $50,000 to make it go.
Even though Cassie has settled with P. Diddy, that wasn't her initial intention. At first, she wanted to seek justice for the decade of life that P. Diddy took away from her with threats of violence, excessive use of drugs, physical and psychological abuse, and sexual slavery. The lawsuit seeks damages for lost wages as well as mental pain and severe emotional distress. P. Diddy has vehemently denied the allegations through his attorney. His lawyer, Ben, claims that Cassie demanded that P. Diddy pay her $30 million or she would write a damaging book about their relationship. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Cassie has now resorted to filing this lawsuit, and they're claiming it's all lies. But really, is it a lie? Then why would you pay her off so quickly? Because Cassie has been so strong and made these allegations public, people are supporting her. Like rapper Azalea Banks claiming that P. Diddy did beat Cassie and that he had sent her on a 3-week vacation to Hawaii just so nobody would see her face. So he would beat her and then send her on a vacation to hide his abuse. Aubrey O'Day, who we're also trying to get onto the podcast, claims that she also knew that this was going on. She shared several posts on her Instagram story claiming that she's known about this and she's happy that Cassie is finally seeking justice.
So I have a little bit of speculation because you remember Diddy was willing to give back publishing to his Bad Boy artist, and Aubrey said don't take that deal because part of that deal was that you could not say a disparaging thing about him, his son, and his mama.
Any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release, I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
Aubrey posted on social media that she's in full support of Cassie in this lawsuit, but she also wanted to remind you guys she's been trying to tell you guys about Diddy for years.
Thank God Aubrey made the right choice because P. Diddy clearly used his ability in the music industry to create these contracts that bled into personal lives and leveraged him that control. His ex-girlfriend Gina has also spoken out against him, and there's a lot of people who have been silent and who's known that this guy's a monster, and they've tried to tell their stories, but it's never really picked up like Cassie's has.
What made you stay?
Because I just thought that he was only being like that because he loved me. Because, I mean, I grew up watching my mom get beat by my dad, so that's all I knew. So I just thought it was normal, and I thought it just mean he loved me.
So we've known that this man is a monster. There's something really wrong here, especially like I'm glad that Cassie got her settlement, but it just like prolongs the problem. Diddy is dangerous. He is a man who should not be controlling the careers of others. And now that he's just able to pay her off and move along, I'm worried there's going to be more victims to come. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.